I don't know about you, but I always feel so worked up and deeply annoyed when a character in a webtoon I read or a series I watch, whether they're the main character or the side character or even the antagonist, starts acting jealous or envious. Like, come on, girl. It makes you miserable. It makes you look worse. It complicates everything. Envy and jealousy are beauty stealers. You've heard the line, true beauty comes from within. But let's be honest, we're not all born with the same kind of faces. Some people come into this world beautiful, and some don't. And even when a beautiful person does something terrible, people still call them beautiful. Meanwhile, someone born with less conventional looks, when they do something wrong, or even when they do nothing at all, they're still labeled ugly. But here's where things get real. We are energy. And whatever is happening inside us inevitably flows outward into our actions, our mood, our communication, our interactions, the way we carry ourselves, and the energy we radiate. If the energy boiling inside you is envy, jealousy, or bitterness, it will show. It distorts how you speak, how you move, think, and relate. It makes the beautiful look miserable and the ugly look even more defeated and small. But if the energy inside you is love, freedom, self trust, and the commitment to cultivate your own power, your own beauty, then it transforms you. The beautiful radiate even more, and the ugly, their energy shifts too, lifting their entire presence until they glow. Because honestly, who actually gets to decide who's ugly or beautiful, right? Who sets those standards? Who made those rules? What matters is the energy you express when no one is watching, your true self rooted in clarity instead of comparison, in self alignment instead of envy. What matters is the truth of your energy. Your beauty will always be defined by how honestly and peacefully you express who you really are. These disgusting feelings, envy, jealousy, bitterness, all come from one thing you keep doing, comparing yourself to others. If you didn't compare yourself, you wouldn't feel any of this. You just exist freely, calmly, happily. You'd be able to express yourself without doubt, fear, or insecurity. Humans are lonely beings, and our biggest desire is happiness. But the world has labeled happiness into categories: money, love, beauty, recognition, belonging, power, validation. And the bad news is all of those things are placed outside of you in spaces you cannot fully control. They can disappear, they can be stolen, they can fade. And because your happiness is attached to them, losing them feels like losing your reason to live. So you cling, you compete, you compare yourself to the person who has what you want. You obsess over keeping up, getting ahead, not falling behind. Your whole life becomes one endless competition, all because you are terrified that someone else will take what you think you need to be happy. If you want to become more beautiful inside and out and make your life easier, stop comparing yourself to others. And no, you don't stop comparing by forcing affirmations or pretending you don't care. You stop comparing by understanding why your mind does it, and then commanding your brain to reset, rewire, and return to a clean, beautiful internal baseline. Here are the things that actually work. First one, catch the comparison. Catch your brain when it suddenly compares yourself to others. I used to think comparison is just random emotional thunderstorm that just attacks us. Nope. Your brain is more predictable than that. You don't compare yourself randomly. Your brain has a type. You compare yourself to A, people who represent something you think you lack, and B, people who mirror a wound you haven't healed. Think about it. You don't compare yourself to a 90-year-old billionaire, a 12-year-old spelling bee champion. Why? Because none of that hits your identity. None of it touches your wounds, your desires, or your internal narratives. You only compare yourself to people who land close to your sense of self. Your comparisons expose your internal map. Every comparison you make points to something you secretly want and something you fear you'll never have, or something you once had but lost. For example, if you compare yourself to someone your age who's ahead, the pattern isn't about them. It's about your fear of being behind. If you compare yourself to women who look a certain way, pattern is about beauty, standards, desirability, and self-worth. If you compare yourself to someone's relationship, the pattern points to loneliness, abandonment wound, or desire for connection. Patterns is the categories where your identity is unstable. The comparison isn't random, it's diagnostic. This shows you exactly where your inner world feels shaky, and the places where you feel secure. You never compare. Ever notice that? Nobody compares water when they're drowning in fire. You only look at what threatens you. So, what's the point? Instead of saying, I need to stop comparing myself, you shift to, what type of person or situation triggers me the most? Because when you identify the pattern, you identify the root wound underneath it. You stop feeling like comparison is attacking you. You start seeing it as your brain telling you where you need alignment. Second, ask the killer question. What does this trigger reveal about me? Comparison is never about the other person. It's always your subconscious tapping your shoulder like, hey, this thing, yeah, we still haven't dealt with it. Examples: envy of someone's relationship, wound around worthiness or abandonment, envy of someone's success, fear that you're behind or directionless, envy of someone's beauty, internalized standards you never agreed to. When you trace the trigger to the wound, comparison becomes data. The moment you feel that sting, you're not reacting to them. You are reacting to something inside you that they accidentally touch. The comparison is a mirror. You're not jealous of them. You are jealous of the version of you you think you're not. Why this question works? When you ask, what does this trigger reveal about me? You will stop blaming the other person or resenting them or spiraling about their life. You start identifying your wound, understanding your fear, owning your desire, and reclaiming your power. You shift from reactive to self aware, from victim to observer, from spiraling to self mastery. Number three, stop trying to be enough. Start acting like someone's who is enough. Your brain doesn't trust your feelings. Your brain trusts your behavior. You can affirm, I am enough, until your throat dries out. But if your actions scream the opposite, your mind calls BS every single time. Your brain trusts evidence, not affirmations. It is when you constantly finish what you start, keep promises to yourself, show up when you said you will, choose habits that match the identity you want. Your brain goes, oh, damn, we really are this person. And comparison drops because you're too busy becoming the proof. Why your feelings don't fix insecurity. Feeling confident is unreliable. Feelings fluctuate with hormones, mood, sleep, one stupid comment, one Instagram post, one bad hair day. If you rely on feeling enough, you're screwed. Because the moment you wake up feeling like trash, your whole confidence collapses. Your brain believes what you do, not what you say. If you tell yourself, I'm disciplined, but you never follow through, I'm worthy, but you keep choosing scraps. I'm strong, but you avoid every challenge. I'm capable, but you never show up. Your brain goes, stop lying to me. You can't out affirm your behavior. So, what actually works? You start acting like someone who's enough before you feel like it. This is backwards from what you were taught, but it's exactly how identity is built. Look at this. Confidence doesn't make you show up. Showing up makes you confident. Self worth doesn't make you choose better. Choosing better makes you feel worthy. Discipline doesn't come from motivation. Motivation comes from discipline. Identity isn't built by emotion. Identity is built by evidence. Your actions create the identity. The identity creates the feeling, not the other way around. Okay, let's say you want to be the type of woman who respects herself. You can visualize her, journal her, manifest her, but your brain only believes she's real when your behavior matches her. If she would speak up, keep her promises, choose rest instead of doom scrolling, walk away from nonsense, finish the damn task, protect her energy. You do those things. And your brain slowly goes, oh, this is who we are now. That's when comparison fades because you're too busy embodying yourself. Think of it like trust. If someone told you, trust me, but kept breaking promises, you wouldn't. Your brain is the same. You probably betrayed yourself more times than you realize. Said you start, said you stop, said you change, said this time is different, then didn't. Your brain remembers all of it. You don't feel enough because you don't trust yourself. Number four, limit the environments that feed your insecurity. Not quit social media, that's unrealistic. Just curate your surroundings with savage precision. Mute anyone who makes you spiral. Follow people who inspire your growth, not your self hate. Reduce exposure to content that hits your deepest wounds. Your brain reacts to patterns, not platform. It's not Instagram, it's what you consume on Instagram. It's not TikTok, it's the content that hits the exact insecurity you haven't healed. Your environment becomes the water your mind swims in. If the water is toxic, you can't expect to feel clean. You can be the most self aware, self loving, healed version of yourself, and one scroll on the wrong account can still make you feel like trash. Why? Because your nervous system reacts faster than your logic. Your mind goes, oh wow, she looks perfect. But your biology goes, threat, competition, not enough. And boom, a spiral. Overthink. That's not you lacking discipline. That's you bathing in triggers. So what works? You change the water, not the fish. Here's the secret most confident people do quietly. They ruthlessly control what they see, not because they're fragile, but because they're smart enough not to feed their own wounds at 3 a.m. They mute people, unfollow triggers, curate what enters their mind, keep their environment aligned with their identity. This is not weakness. This is environmental strategy. You know how to cut ties and detach from something that doesn't feed your power. Power is I don't expose myself to things that drain me. This part might sting. The content you consume is training your brain who to envy. If 90% of what you see is perfect bodies, curated relationship, luxury lifestyles, self-made success, spiritual gurus, aesthetic girl bosses, your brain starts believing that's the standard. So, of course, you feel behind. The bar is set by filters and marketing teams. You're comparing yourself to manufactured illusions. The point isn't to hide, it's to stop voluntarily walking into emotional landmines. You don't need to quit social media. You just need to stop feeding yourself content that's basically whispering. You're not enough. You're late. You're ugly. You're failing. You need to buy this to be worthy. No wonder comparison feels constant. You're drinking poison in tiny doses every single day. When you control the environment, your mind finally breathes. When you create content that inspires rather than threatens, creators who make you think, not shrink, environments that reflect your identity, not your wounds, you stop fighting your brain. You stop being reactive. You stop spiraling. You start feeling like you again. Confidence isn't born in chaos, it's born in clarity.